sir.
It is 4 o'clock. I'm going to call the May 27th, 2025 Coffee County Planning Commission meeting to order. And the first order of business will be approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to remove the zoning amendment to discussion of the, to include the variance, on the A1 zone, due to lack of information.
We do have a lot of information that hadn't gotten to us yet.
Right.
I have a motion to remove the zoning amendment discussion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Randy seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now I will take a motion to approve the agenda without the deleted item.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Ms. Laura Nettles makes a motion to approve the new agenda.
I'll second.
I have a second from Miss Anna. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move on to public comments. Anyone that would like to speak, please come forward to the lectern. Yes, ma'am.
If our question is about the A1, does that mean we can't ask a question about it now that that's not on the agenda?
You can ask a question about the A1.
I get nervous. Okay. I'm Robin Smotherman with Short Creek Homes. I'm the owner of the company. This is my husband, Chad. We purchased two properties that are adjoining each other on the corner of Ragsdale and Saneville, 10266 and 10268. We closed on that in April with the intention of renovating the modular home that's currently on the property, tearing down the dilapidated building that was on that, an old house, and then putting 3 new construction single-family homes on 6+ acres, and then 2 single-family homes on the other section, which is 3+ acres. So each home would have over an acre lot. We have gotten with our land surveyor and had all of the lots staked out. We've gotten with the soil scientist to make sure all the perk sites were there. And we've spent a little over $410,000 right now, and we had no clue when we purchased this property that what we were planning to do was not going to be able to happen. So, you know, had we known the day we closed on the property, we would have gone to the commission or
The day after.
the day after. So we're just asking for a variance or what, or more information, because we were ready, you know, we were trying to get all of our ducks in a row, and then start pulling building permits, and now we're stuck.
This discussion started in March, am I correct? And-
February or March.
And there was a moratorium passed March or April maybe. And with the intent of doing something. And the 5 acres passed at the last full commission meeting. As you heard, we are going to look at further variances to maybe subdividing that property, but we're not ready to do that yet. As it is right now, it stands at 5 acres. But if I were you guys, I'm just suggesting that you be patient and wait.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? That's as much as we can help right now.
Okay, thank you.
Kurt, you have something? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna move right along. We're gonna move to approve the previous minutes.
Let's see.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Randy Harrell makes a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Ms. Laura seconds. Any questions, any discussion? I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on. We're moving on to a bond review, and I think we only have one bond, one active bond right now,
On the site plan paving, and it was released today.
and it was released today, so there are no other outstanding bonds. Okay.
Mm.
All right, we have a major final 2698 Baines Road, map 113, parcel 001, H&S Capital Management LLC, and Tim Davis. Who's speaking to that? Come right forward.
That's your plan.
Can you see a good
Yeah,
enough?
it's correct. Yes, sir.
You can just tell them what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah, we purchased the 11.5 acres to subdivide it for single-family homes to be built. We have a contract with Josh Campbell, a local builder who lives just right down the road, for him to purchase those lots and build some nice single-family homes.
I know it's on Baines Road. Okay, I see it now. Yeah. Kurt, does it, meet all the requirements?
Yes, that's,
Meets all the requirements?
meets all the requirements, and Charbonneau signed off on the second,
You have septic approval?
he signed off,
Any questions?
or not Charbonneau, but somebody from TD.
It was Sean Antoniak.
Is that, we having a new guy?
My understanding, and this is just what I was told, is Alan planning on stepping down at some point, or kind of working his way out, I think. Yeah.
Just for information.
Yeah. I believe Sean's out of maybe Rutherford County, I believe. So I guess he helped out on this one.
7 or 8. Yeah, 8.
You got it right here.
Is that,
This is the final, they've already came with the
They've already come
preliminary
from-
a while.
Before.
back, yes. So they worked through the construction plans, they put a detention pond in, it does meet the requirements. Kenny and I went out and looked at it, so.
and it's, it was started before the 5
Oh,
acre.
this is-
Yeah.
It's been a while.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we've
Yes,
looked at this
before
before,
the
I
five
think.
acre.
Right. Yeah.
Any more questions? Any more observations?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Randy Harrell to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Ms. Laura. Any more discussion? Any more questions? All those in favor of accepting this major final at 2629 Baines Road, say aye. Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Thank you all.
You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the minor subdivision on Mount View Road, map 087, parcel 022, Charles Miller. Is Mr. Miller here? Oh, okay. Got Nick up here.
Evening, everyone. Nicholas Northcutt Surveying. So Mr. Miller, has this land, and to familiarize y'all with this is basically just kind of directly across from the entrance into Fire Lake. So if you're going out Mount View, you cross over the lake. You got Fire Lake on your left, and this would be a portion of that property there. And so we have done soils on it and everything. The soils come back, you know, good, and we've heard back from Charbonneau and everything on that, so he's just seeking to carve these lots off. And I can answer any questions y'all have on that.
Everything,
Yes.
everything's up to snuff.
Does it have the soil sites?
Mm-hmm.
We've got, and Kurt's got some emails here confirming all this stuff, right?
Yes, I do from
We-
Highland.
Okay.
We didn't show reserve areas on there because the whole lot was good soil, so there wasn't really a need to do it. So he easily got 3-bedroom approval on all of it, so.
And the driveways come off Mountain View?
Yep, they will.
Okay.
One of them has access to like an easement or a right-of-way. That very northerly one, I believe, has easement rights. But, the others would come off of Mountain View.
I got you.
Say there's a right of way on the one.
Watch out, Nick.
50-foot easement, okay.
Any more questions from Mr. Northcutt? Any more discussion at the table? I'll take a motion either way.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Nettles makes a motion to approve. Can't call Laura anymore because I got two. Ms. Nettles makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Anna seconds. Has a second. Any more discussion? Any more questions? All those in favor of approving this minor plat on Mount View Road, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Nick.
Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
That's all the items on the agenda. Ms. Laura, would you mind us going over the suggestions that some of your constituents
No.
sent under other? And we've done a little bit to look them up.
Well, and there was one that I was made aware of that I had talked to CTAS on, and that was the 3/4 votes. That's state law, so CTAS
Well,
doesn't
that's what you and I discussed.
Yes,
Uh,
so,
This was sent by some constituents of Ms. Nettles, and she forwarded it to me. And she and I have discussed a little bit about it with the mayor. And some of these suggestions, all the suggestions are real good. Some of them are not as practical as some of the others, but I'm gonna go over the list. And Cindy and Kurt can comment too. But one of the first ones is public notification and the signage. We don't do signage at the county. Everything that we do is in the newspaper. It says we have to advertise in a newspaper of general circulation 15 days beforehand. And that sometimes is hard for us to do the way the meetings are and the way the county commission meetings are. The mail out notices, currently we're 15 days, and that 15 days kind of corresponds to the 15 days that is required by state. This suggestion was to make it 20 days. I'm not sure that would work good for us to get things lined up like they need to be in the paper. Not a bad suggestion though. Online posting is something that Kurt and Cindy both have said might be possible. And it says the county, is to post all rezoning applications with full details, including, maps, proposed uses, and public hearing dates. Some of that's possible, but we as a planning commission are supposed to look at that information as we come in this room,
Right.
not ahead of time. So, that would kind of be a little problem for us there. Feedback form. It was suggested that there be a form, if I'm correct here, that could be available coming out of the planning commission, something that people could give the general feedback. Well, this is the time to give your general feedback, and that's kind of set up by state law, and that's why we have a public comment every time. But that's a great suggestion, and I wanted you to know that we did pay attention to it. Another one on signage, which again is what the city does. This one was one that she just commented on, and that's to require a 3/4 vote at the county commission level for any rezoning. Right now, it's a simple majority, and that's set by CTAS or
Well,
TCAT.
I thought it was CTAS, but when I talked to CTAS, they advised that that was a state law.
State law, okay. So don't blame them for making the suggestion, but I want you to understand why we can't do it. This is one that's pretty troubling, but I understand why the suggestion was made, and that was that around any Century Farm, there'd be a 300 to 500 foot buffer. It would work like the setback rules. The problem with it is when you get 300 to 500 feet around somebody's farm, you're getting 300 to 500 feet into somebody else's farm. So that's might be a good idea, but it's not really practical. I think y'all understand that. The other suggestion nobody likes, but is the rezoning fees. And we've been through this a couple of times about raising our fees. I keep hearing impact fee, I keep hearing this, I keep hearing that. I want people to understand, we have to go through the state legislature a county has to go through the state legislature to get an impact fee. And it's next to impossible to do. Rutherford County does not have an impact fee, Murfreesboro does. And they've been trying for ever since Joe Carr was elected down there, and his own state legislator is against him on that. So, the only other way that we could, do anything about that is to raise fees, and that will be discussed, and when we discuss it, we'd like to hear from y'all too, from the public. But I thought those were good suggestions, and I thought that was kind of important that be brought up in the meeting. And that's all I have on that. Does anybody else have anything else? Somebody come up with something, we're going to end up having a short meeting. Any questions out there? Yes.
Would it be possible to have public comments after each item of discussion?
Good idea, a good thought. And I'm gonna ask Nick, what do you think about, and I'm doing this because these are people that have publicly commented. Had you rather have public comments instead of at the first of a meeting, as to have them after each item on the agenda is presented?
In the full commission meetings?
Here and the full commission meeting. Or here, we can't do anything about the full commission.
I certainly think that it's, better to do it while the item is being discussed. Because if it's like in a full commission meeting, I mean, for example, you'll have public comments at the beginning, and then they'll go through an hour of budget finance
agree
revisions
wholeheartedly.
and stuff, and then, people have forgotten what you even were talking about by the time it gets to the item.
Sean, is that the way you see it too?
I mean, if we bring up, if you're talking about something here and we discuss it and everything, well, by the time you get to voting, an hour and a half, 2 hours later, they might have forgot, or everything gets jumbled all together with different comments about everything. I know I'd forget what was going on.
Nick, you sit there through a lot of this. What's your?
Yes, I agree.
You agree with that 100%. That's kind of what we've talked about before.
I think bring up a topic, talk about it, vote on it, another topic, talk about it, if there's any comments. And another thing I thought as well, during, and I know you said you can't do nothing for the full commission meetings, but during some of them, they'll ask questions or change things that I'd like to voice an approval for, or ask a question to the commissioner about, but by that time, public comments is over and I can't do it.
I understand that. I've never liked public comments at the beginning of a meeting, but I don't get to make that decision. But we will talk about that. First of all, I've got to find it. I think that we as a planning commission can do that, but I want to make absolutely certain. Laura, Sammy, would you either one have any notion as to whether we can do that or not?
I don't know.
I don't know for the committee meetings. I don't think so for the full commission, but I don't know about in here.
I can tell you on my committee, cause I'm
Please.
on two of them. And it's really up to the chairman of that committee. He can allow to happen during discussion, cause I wanna hear what the public has said. They come to our committee meetings. This is where all the work is done. To me, that out there is just a formality part. Yes, it's important that you heard, but in our committee meetings is where the work is actually done. These people do the decide. We are supposed to support what they really do. In my meetings, I allow the public to speak on items as they come up, but I also try to remind them, time, it's a time-sensitive thing. You need to keep your time down. Don't ramble, write down, if you got a lot to say, write it down where you can say it. Because if you get up there and you start, that's just and I don't allow arguing in my meeting.
I would like to,
There's another committee going on.
Can,
I would like to,
But that's how I do mine.
will anybody make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we change it from the beginning of public comments to comments on the topic that is brought up at that time.
Would you be willing to add a 3-minute limit to that?
Yes, 3-minute limit.
You got that, Cindy? Any discussion on that?
I'll second.
That was pretty quick. All right, all those in favor of changing the public comments to comments before the item or after the item's presented with a 3-minute limit per speaker, say aye.
Aye.
And I know I can do that on my own, but I like to have the group's approval. Now I would take a motion to adjourn.
That's me. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. If you're going to vote yes, just get up and walk out. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Do I need to sign something for you?